Hey, you're listening to the Start a Quest podcast with Matt and Sydney. This week we talked about running Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs for children. How old should a kid be before they can play D&D with you? And if they're not old enough yet, then what kind of RPG would be appropriate? My favourite moment from today's discussion is when we worked out that kids have a different perception of unfairness. And then, how does that unfairness impact their perception of failure? How do they deal with failure? And is D&D a good vessel to teach them how to cope with failure a little bit better? I'm going to drop you into the episode real soon, but let me just say that you should sign up to the newsletter at start-a-quest.com. And for context, we're going to drop right in when Sydney is challenging me about some rules that I had written on my newsletter for how you should run D&D for kids, particularly that I say you shouldn't be fighting things that bleed, like animals or people. But hey, look, no spoilers. That's where we're jumping into. Let's get in there right now. I'll play the theme song.
It's you and me. We're sailing on the sea in a friendship on an adventure. It's fantasy. Who do you want to be? Now the walls are falling away. I could play a bard with a broken heart. You could play a rogue because you stole our boat. So head out west. Now time to start a quest and party up with your friends.
You in your newsletter say, try and avoid violence. Try and have games where you do things that aren't attacking sentient creatures.
Yeah, and not because I go, oh, this is not appropriate for young people to be doing. It's because I just don't think they would do it. Like as an adult, if I put a problem in front of you and the solution I'm signaling is to murder this bandit, and that's the way you progress, and that's like a pro-social thing to do in this context, I don't think that an 8-year-old would do that. The 8-year-old would try and make friends with this person, and which is great. But I know it's a game where you can do anything, but there are some anythings which are more appropriate than others.
Right. You and I have spoken about affordances before, but to kind of give you the thing again, a guy called Don Norman has a book called The Design of Everyday Things.
Okay.
It's a great book. And in it, he talks about affordances. And an affordance is the way that the properties of a thing relate to how you use the thing.
Okay.
The best example is, doors that you push have a flat plate and doors that you pull have a handle.
I do now.
That is an affordance. And it's an affordance that you don't notice because it's well designed. Yeah. It's invisible to you. If you put a handle on a door that you push, watch people pull on it and fail to interact with it properly. Right? Things are designed in a way that they want to be used. D&D is designed to be used as a combat game.
Yeah.
Right? Historically, it comes out of wargaming.
Yeah, we've got the grid.
You got the grid. You've got, top of your sheet, hit points, armor class, initiative. What does initiative mean? It's who goes first when you fight.
Yeah.
Right?
And can I just put this out there? I've been a person for a long time. Mm-hmm. I've never been in a combat. You know what I mean? In as being a person, like a character or whatever, I've never been in a fight. And all my favorite characters in most things, I love Wuthering Heights. I'm excited for the new movie to come out. Catherine's never been in a fight. She doesn't have an initiative state. So it's kind of weird that they go, what is a character? Oh, a character is how well they can fight. That's cartoon stuff.
It's cartoon stuff. And the thing that's... No, it's not. Because even cartoon stuff is not about that. All right, maybe there's some cartoons like the Ninja Turtles where each individual is defined by their weapons or whatever. But when you think about class as a structure, as a structure of identity for a character, that's how do you fight? Mm-hmm. Are you a wizard? Do you fight with magic? Or are you a warlock? Do you fight with different magic? Or do you have spell slots, or do you use a sword or whatever? And young adult tween grade school fantasy is often not about fighting.
As a genre.
As a genre,
okay.
Yeah. And so when you think about the context that these kids are telling stories in, and what these kids are telling stories, and they can, again, I'm with you on this. This is not a moral stance. I'm not saying that I don't want kids to have violence in their lives or whatever. I don't think that's a relevant position to take. But D&D's lineage is historical wargaming, Napoleonic wargaming, Russian Kriegspiel, all these like classical my troops fight your troops, who wins arguments, that then gets built into a dungeon adventure that then gets turned into you can do anything. And like you can do anything is true, but the question is, what is the game affording? What does the game help you to do? And so I think one of the things about the difference between D&D as a play experience or as like a play structure versus D&D as a game is that young kids, like younger than 13, 14, we have bought the 10-year-old the D&D starter set. He loves reading it. He loves painting dragon minis. He loves looking at the pictures, but he's read that book a bunch of times. And if I'm like, do you want to run a game? His response is, I don't know the rules.
Yeah, and that's probably the experience most people have with like the $20 or $15 original Phandelver starter set. I think my sister bought the game for my nieces and nephews, and they read it and they loved it and they went through the books and looked at the pictures and be like, here's my experience of the monster manual when I was a kid. You'd open the book on the shelf, you'd flick through it, you'd find the biggest number and be like, whoa, this guy's got the biggest number.
Do you ever do the thing where you find two of them and like think about how they would fight?
Yeah.
Maybe you roll some dice or whatever, but you're like just looking at the numbers.
I don't have the dice. The dice cost $13 and I'm 10. Are you kidding? Well, here's the question. So the structure isn't necessarily appropriate for kids. The context of having an activity where the kid gets attention, that's desirable. And we're trying to think, are there structures that are appropriate? And also, like, if the kid's getting attention out of this interaction, playing D&D with their dad, what's the dad getting out of it? And I want you can mind read me here, okay? If I have a movie and I say, I've seen this movie and I think we should watch it, why do I want to watch that movie with you?
There's a sense of like, it's social proofing, right? It's social approval. I think in a lot of cases, which is why when someone does show you a movie they like, they do this one. Hey, put your phone down.
Yeah,
put your phone down.
You're missing it. I'll rewind that bit. The point is, when I show you a movie, it's not because I think you'll like this movie. It's because I will like you having seen this movie. And as an adult playing D&D with a kid, I am saying it's like waiting for your little brother to grow up so you can play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater together. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, let's do this. I want you to be my friend.
You're going to learn about bad religion today.
Yeah. So like, I think the D&D game is for the adult. If you're playing a different game, there might be something for the kid. The kid gets something out of D&D, but it's not what the adult gets out of D&D.
Yes. Yeah. And I think this is a really interesting question about like why D&D is structured the way it is. So a really good example, right? So you and I played with a kid 8 years old a couple of weeks ago.
Younger. He was 6.
6. Thank you.
And that in Australia is he would be in year 1, I think.
Yes. So year 1 means somewhere between 12 and 24 months of like socialization with other kids in a structured scenario, starting reading comprehension, starting those like structured activities of like going to school for a number of hours and being in class and that sort of stuff. Right?
Being in a seat.
Yes. Starting. Not very good at it yet, starting. So one of the things I find interesting about that is that D&D and other role-playing games traditionally have this structure that was referred to as IIEE, which is like intent, initiation, execution, and something else. Evaluation, execution. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so the idea is that intent, I say, I want to kill the bandit. Initiation, I say, I move up to the bandit and I swing my sword. Then the game breaks and we roll dice. And that's the evaluation. And then the execution is the thing that comes after. Yeah, you hit the bandit, whatever.
Is this a common structure? Like, are most games like this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, at least I would say like most role-playing games are like this.
Okay.
Which is that we break it into what you want to do and like how you fictionally position that. And then we roll and then you have an outcome.
Okay, yep.
And that outcome then like is mediated by the rules of the game. And so when we were playing with Chantilly, right, if you notice the way that he tells the story is not like I go up to the robot and I swing my sword at it, what happens next?
Yeah, he started at I cut off its head.
Yep.
And it's not really satisfying to rewind and go like, well, do you?
I don't know if you cut off its head. And the kids
No, but I said
disconnected. Yeah, already off doing things. You said I could do anything. I'm now playing with a sword in the corner.
And I think this is a good case study. And like, so for context, do you want to grab that game we got down there? Yeah. We played a game called Animal Adventures that I bought years ago. And I thought that this was like an original whole game for kids. Mm-hmm. I didn't look on the box. It turns out it's 5th edition, or very like 5th edition. But the benefit is that this is clearly made by like a miniature company, and it comes with all these miniatures of dogs and cats with swords and stuff. But so we played this with a bunch of adults and one kid, and we played for maybe 2 hours, which was too long.
With a break in the middle.
With a break in the middle. We did...
way too long for 6 years old. Yeah.
And it was like... Here's the thing. It was so 5th edition-y in that it was... You guys rock up. There's a problem in the town. People have been abducted. People are animals. And you guys have to go into a mad Frankenstein castle, fight some robots. And it was like 3 combats. Mm-hmm. And this was a massively edited and pared down version from what's in the book. The book wanted the adventure to be like 6 combats. You could not get me to do the same thing 6 times when I'm 6. Number of the devil.
Right. And this is a core problem with the way that D&D flows for kids, D&D combats flow for kids. We're playing a lot of Quirkle at home at the moment, right?
What is that?
So Quirkle is a board game. It's a tile placing game where you each have tiles, kind of like Scrabble, that are like hidden from each other. But instead of letters, they're like shapes and colors, and you're placing them so that you create a variety of shapes and colors in a grid.
Okay.
And the idea is that every time you add to the board, you get points equal to the length of the line that you add. So adding to a longer line gets you more points. That's the idea. The thing about Quirkle is that it has a shared board space, and every time someone contributes to it, it fundamentally changes how the next person is going to act, most of the time. Now, I love Bug. I love the 10-year-old. I love him to death. He is super keen for his turn to come around.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking about all the time. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? It is only by virtue of the fact that when his mum and I play the tiles that it affects his strategy, that he even pays attention to us, right? But in D&D, if you have that first combat, I think has like 3 or 4 robots, and one of them bites off on this person and one of them bites off on this person, and like I don't need to pay attention to your turn to know what's happening to my turn.
It's when I pay attention to your turn, that's me being gracious. Kids don't have that instinct.
6-year-olds do not have a lot of grace, right. And so I think there's a thing about like you want kids to be involved in an activity where other people's behavior impacts them and affects them, and so they want to pay attention to it. And I think there are ways to do that, but it involves something a little bit more dynamic than just like a you go, I go D&D combat.
Yeah. I also think that like it just feels so unnatural for this kid sitting in a group of 5 and being, now it's your turn and we're all paying attention. Now it's your turn, we're all paying attention, and trust that when it gets to my turn, everyone's going to pay me attention as well. It's kind of the instinct of, like you're splitting a Mars bar with your sister and you notice that she got a millimeter more than you, and like that's the worst thing in the world.
Can I take this to bite off on a different topic?
Please.
Okay, cool. I want to talk about failure tolerance, and I want to talk about like fairness and the idea of fairness.
Okay.
Do you remember Chantilly's comment on fairness during our game?
What did Chantilly say?
So on the day, we were playing the final combat is like a culmination combat, right? So there's the bad guy and his big monster, and there's 2 of these minions and 2 of these minions, and they end up kind of outnumbering us like 2 to 1. And you said at one point, okay, now these bad guys get a go. And Chantilly's comment was, wait, why are the bad guys going again? That's not fair.
Oh.
And what I'm trying to capture here is that kids have a very different idea of what fairness is developmentally. So really early, fairness means, why aren't I winning? And then it turns into, why isn't everything the same?
Yeah, equal.
And then it turns into, why isn't it equitable? Or like, why isn't it just? But kids do not, like, that doesn't happen all at once. And so if you say to a kid, oh, that thing that you want to do, you want to attack that robot, you have to roll a 14 and they don't, that thing of like, oh, I failed, I did bad, I didn't do a thing.
This can't happen. Why should I fail? I'm a good person.
Right. Sid Meier, who did the Civilization series, calls it the winner's paradox, right?
Yeah.
If you have a 33% chance to succeed and you do, you're a tactical genius.
Yeah.
If you have a 33% chance to fail and you do, the game's broken. And it actually balances out around double. So like you need that failure chance to be 66% before you're like, yeah, I could fail. It's really weird. Our brains are broken about probability. So the question of like, I'm paying attention to you and it's your turn, and then you and it's your turn, it's you, and then all the baddies get a turn, and now it's my turn, and I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I rolled and I failed and I didn't do anything. I saw a really good talk in Vancouver by a couple of therapists who were using D&D with older kids, like teens, right? Like 16, 17. And they talk about how that failure tolerance is really good because it shows you tried a thing, you failed, but like nothing bad happened to you, right? Like you didn't die, you just missed your attack. It's fine. Next turn will come around. But you can't sell that to a 6-year-old.
There are different kinds of failure though. And I think the worst kind of failure it feels like a waste. I did something and I got no feedback from the world about it. So if my turn comes around, I do an attack and I miss and nothing happens, it's like I got nothing. I would rather something catastrophic happen than nothing. It's so much more interesting. And regarding Chantilly and failure, Chantilly rolled 2 natural ones during the game. Mm-hmm. I don't normally mess with natural ones at all. I don't care, because failure is already its kind of own punishment. But in these cases, I'm like, look, this kid doesn't know what's going to happen. Like, they don't care about the mechanics at all.
Right.
So,
how can I make this interesting?
So there's if they don't care about the mechanics, then there's no downside to them of them dropping their weapon when they roll a 1. Like, it's just an interesting thing to have happen.
Right.
So at one point, they roll a 1. I'm like, yeah, and the enemy knocks the sword out of your hand, and now the stakes are higher. Mechanically, it means nothing. I'm just going to pick up the sword and keep swinging. But right at the end, there was a moment where the Frankenstein stand-in walks dramatically around the table where Frankenstein's monster is waiting and says, next round, I'm going to pull this lever. Mm-hmm. Right? And then Chantilly had like a moment of strategy that I did not expect. And rather than going, I'm going to kill Frankenstein, goes, I'll destroy the lever.
Yes.
I was really surprised about that. I thought it spoke to like just how quick this kid is. But rolled a natural 1 on that attack. And the natural thing to happen on a natural 1 when you're rolling to destroy the thing that activates the monster is, yeah, you actually activate the monster. But Chantilly was so gracious with that failure and the other failure. And think about like the natural instinct of a kid playing a game. If I'm not winning, you said, then it's unfair. That justifies, hey, if it's unfair if I'm not winning, that kind of justifies me cheating. That kind of justifies me like crying if I lose or if I'm losing or if things don't go well. This kid rolled 2 natural 1s and was just happy the whole time.
Yes.
And that tells me that it didn't feel like failure. They didn't read whatever they were getting out of the game. Winning the game or doing well in the story wasn't the goal. There was some other goal in that kid's head, and they weren't failing at that goal. I clearly think that goal is to get attention.
Yeah, and I like, while I don't know if you're right on the get attention thing, I do want to support the position that you like. I think you're right. I think the read of the situation is right. That there is some sort of pre-losery or losery goal. Like there's something that motivates that play that is above the idea of like winning or achieving or whatever. And I think a lot of that comes to the fact that young kids especially have less sense of like causality, like less sense of cause and effect.
Oh yeah.
So like the kid doesn't connect, oh, I dropped my sword, and that means that later it's going to be harder, or the kid's like, I'm picking up the sword and I attack again. Like, sure. And I think that is fantastic, because what it shows is that there's a lot of structures in D&D that are built around this idea of, can you achieve a certain thing in a certain amount of rounds? Can you beat the enemy before they beat you? Can you drop their hit points to 0 before they drop yours? Can you stop them from pulling the lever before they And the dice are the question of like, oh, can you, can't you? And like, are they really the stakes that you want to bring to play? They might be, but surely there can be something else.
Look, I don't think that the structure of D&D, of we're doing combat, we're on a grid, we're rolling dice, we're adding a number, we're comparing it to a DC. You have a suite of skills and your character has a bunch of numbers.
Yes.
I don't think any of that is good for this 6-year-old or a 6-year-old at all.
No.
If I'm asking essentially, if you had some rules for a good game for a 6-year-old, what would it be?
So I think the key here is that like we can have developmental guidelines or whatever, but like every 6-year-old is very different.
Oh,
and
I looked up the curriculum.
Yeah.
I looked up, okay, where are kids at in year 1?
Yeah.
In year 1, they're presumed to have, they know numbers up to 30. They can do single digit addition. It didn't say anything about subtraction. And then throughout year 1, they learn numbers up to 100.
Yes.
And now that's the baseline, and I would presume the actuality to be half that. In that half the kids can do that.
At least there's like a bell curve, right?
Yeah.
So it probably splits that in the middle somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. So my question is going to be, and this kind of belies my my like profession in applied games, right? In games that are designed for a purpose, is like the question would be, what game should I bring to a 6-year-old? Why are you bringing the game to a 6-year-old? Do you like, is it for them to have fun? Is it for, and there are a lot of games out there that are designed for fun. Monty Cook has No Thank You Evil.
Oh, I heard that's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. There's like a lot of these little games that are built for kids that are really good about like very simple things.
And look, am I remembering this correctly? And that game has an X card mechanic which lets players veto things that they don't want. But literally the kid just says, oh, no, thank you, evil. And then the game just kind of moves on.
Yep.
Oh, it's too spooky. No, thank you, evil.
No, thank you, evil. Yep.
That's so cute.
And there's a big question of like, what are you... So again, like D&D coming out of a wargaming tradition, right? There are two purposes to a wargame. One is you're either testing a skill, like you have a commander and you're testing a particular strategy. And so you're validating it through action. And the other one is you're developing new thinking by testing in a safe environment. So we don't have a strategy. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And they both need hyper structured approaches to it. But no, thank you. Yeah, you can just say no. You can just say a thing doesn't. You can just say a thing that happens. And like, yeah, well, like, why are you bringing dice into it? That sort of thing. And a lot of people I see saying things like, I want them to learn social skills. So sitting at a table where they can play out a character or whatever. Sure. But remember, this is a game where the pro-social act is to swing the sword. Like, is that the thing, you know? Like, the pro-social act is to value people based on their transactional capacity to help you attack something.
And I think my answer to be, why am I asking a 6-year-old to play a game? Literally, it is just so that they can participate in the ritual of the game, and because I want to show you this great movie that I love and I need you to love it. So it's like, I just want to include you in the things. And like for Chantilly, his dad played in a D&D campaign with us for the last 6 months. We just wrapped up, and he would go home every night and tell the story of the campaign to his kid as a bedtime story. And so Chantilly, when he met me, he knew my name as Hallen, my D&D character, rather than Matt.
Yes.
But like he wanted to participate in that experience that his dad had gotten him excited for, and his dad had gotten him excited for it because the dad was excited about it.
Right. So this is something that's really cool in your in your piece in the newsletter, right, where you talk about pre-briefing the kid and being like, here's the thing you get to be excited about. And you pre-brief them and say, we're going to do this thing. We're going to play this game. And in this game, you're a wizard and you're going to get to cast spells. Isn't that fun? And they're like, yeah, I can't wait. Oh, I've got all these ideas percolating. I'm going to cast some spells. I'm going to have some, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to go on this adventure where you're going to have to fight a dragon. And I'm like, oh, wizard fighting a dragon. Super cool. You pre-brief them in, right? And then there's a thing that you play, and there's a thing that happens afterwards, which is reflective practice. And for Chantilly's case, the reflective practice is, tell me the story back. Like, what happened? What did you do? And in the applied games world, we find that without the reflection, there's almost no learning. And with the reflection, there's massive amounts of behavior change.
Okay. And ideally, do we want them to learn? Is it okay for them just to have a cool experience in the moment and then never think about it again?
Yeah, this goes back to the why are you doing the thing, right? And like, yeah, we can just do a rainy day thing to do that. But I would argue that at that age, kids are trying to like develop and model, and like every experience is a learning experience. Yeah. And if you're not intentionally teaching them, you are unintentionally teaching them.
Fair.
And that's why when I talk about the character sheet, this is the character sheet from that game, and if you look at it, like it starts with, I'm Chantilly and I don't like my name, it's not powerful enough, people don't cower in fear at Chantilly. Cool, interesting, great character. Top 3 things, hit points, armor class, AC, attacks, equipment, greatsword, armor, rope, torches. Like, why don't I have things like dog biscuits, a tag with from my friend with their owner's name on it or something like that?
But if you were to think about what you want out of an RPG,
yes,
is the game even an RPG? Would the game be a facilitated game where I'm the dad and I'm the dungeon master and I'm telling a story and then I'm asking you for prompts about what do you do? Is that an okay structure for a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay. Tacking onto that, resolution structure, is rolling a dice okay?
I think it's fine.
Does it need a resolution structure?
I think a resolution structure is good because it allows the kid to like advance some of those like game fairness things.
That is something I would want to teach a kid, how to fail.
Yes.
And not lose it.
Right? And there are so many different ways of doing resolution structures that are like supportive of failure.
Yeah. So like a no but.
No but. Or when you roll and you fail, you get more dice next time. Or you have a deck of cards and some of them are high and some of them are low. And when you draw a low card, you take it out of the deck. Now, you just have more high cards.
I see. So like you failed, but that means you've got more likely to succeed next time.
Yep. Or you fail and you mark experience is a classic one, right? Like taking experience away from achieving the goal and tacking experience to the attempt or even to failure of the attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing. Like that turns into reflective practice around the failure, right? I try to swing my sword at the robot. I roll a 1. I drop my sword. Now is my reflective practice? Now I've got to fix this. Now I'm bad.
Great. Now I'm just a dog.
Now I'm a dog with a
no sword.
I'm a dog in a chain shirt. What a problem! If a dog wore a chain shirt, would it wear it like this? And I think that like changing that to, you drop your sword, mark. You can write down your PowerPoint. Or how does that make? Oh, a really good example, right? One of the things you framed in this, which I thought was really great, was the robots shoot us with a spray of water, right? From like they're
spritzing you.
Yeah,
bad dog.
Yeah, and you're like, you take 8 bad dog damage or whatever, discipline damage.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really great, and that would be a good thing of like, how do you feel after dropping your sword? I'm so mad at that robot. Here's the mad die that you get to like add that to your next roll or something, And I think the thing about role playing games is that they're about taking on feelings, what what the LARP community calls bleed in and bleed out. How does my character get modified by how I feel, and how do I feel different because of my character's experiences? And I would want to be hyper targeting that and being like, how does that character feel?
Yeah. And like, when you're a kid, it is very rare for you to get asked a follow-up question.
Ooh, say more.
People's like, how was school? Oh yeah, this happened. You never get, oh, how do you feel about that? Or who is that? How did you two meet? You never, it's literally just pleasantries. Because I don't think adults really want to talk to you.
No.
You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I think that structurally this is a good game to connect with kids in that way. Like an activity where you are having a conversation is good for a kid because they get to have an actual meaningful conversation. I don't know necessarily if the structure of D&D is good for that. I did recently, in preparation for this, I did make a game for 6-year-olds that I've called That Dice Game. So you can say to a kid, hey, do you want to play that dice game? Because that is probably how they think of D&D. Dad plays that dice game.
Yep.
However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video about this game. Mm-hmm. And then I want you to tell me whether this enforces or violates any of your ideal ideas for what a game for 6-year-olds should be. Mm-hmm. You leave it in a comment and I'll pin it. And I hope you like it. Because what's fun is I did want to talk about it this session, but I don't think we have time.
Remember when YouTube used to do reaction videos?
Yes.
I should do a YouTube reaction video.
Oh yeah, you can do a reaction video. That'll be fun. I did one reaction video once and I felt so dirty.
Oh yeah, like in the early 2010s or whatever, you used to be able to like reply to a video with a video and like sub tag it. Oh.
Yeah, so creepy. But really, like, even though I don't think D&D is appropriate for 6-year-olds, and I do think it is great for 8-year-olds plus, playing this game with Chantilly, like, this was a really good way to get to know this person. I learned a lot about Chantilly from seeing the way that he plays. Mm-hmm. He moves around. He asks a lot of questions. I think literally, I have so many swords in this room. Sydney, you got hit with a sword maybe 3 times.
Yeah, different swords, yeah.
Different swords. But there is one thing that I can give. I gave Chantilly after the game. I read a book called The Power of Moments, and they say that one of the most important parts in an experience when people are reflecting on it is the ending. So at the end of the game, I went, oh, Chantilly, you can take that miniature back with you. Here's a dog with a sword. And like in the moment, getting kind of emotional feedback from this kid, this 6-year-old, I was like, oh, you know, they probably didn't really care about the game. They got to have some moments. They got to have fun. But his dad and I got lunch the next day, and he said, Matt, Chantilly's talking about the game all the time. And he's told all of his friends, and he takes the Chantilly miniature with him everywhere.
Yeah, that's rad.
And it's just so cool. Like, I still remember my first ever RPG character when I was a kid. I was playing Warhammer 1st Edition. I just picked a character off the cover. Can I be that guy? And the Dungeon Master goes, yes. I'm like, oh, cool. And like, I have that book still. And I love it because it's got a picture of my little guy on it. Like, it's such an emotional thing. And I'm 38. I played when I was 8 years old, 30 years. And I'm still carrying that book around. I still have affection for this antisocial dwarf that was on the cover of that book. And I just thought it was so lovely that we had a game which let me give that experience to a kid. And they're going to carry that Chantilly figure around with them forever until they lose it or an actual dog eats it.
Yep.
And then they're going to be devastated. But I don't know. That's just like the power of these games and the power of play. And it's not just for adults. It's for kids. Who would have thought? Play isn't just for adults. It's also for kids, I guess. But that's the power of starting a quest. So I would encourage everybody to please get out there, start a quest today. Sign up at start-a-quest.com to the newsletter. Oh. And hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.